2:33 a.m. meal one with oily hands. This is what I've got going on. Yeah, it's got one tuna can in there as well with this butter here. I used the whole thing. I'm trying to eat heavy because I've been finding it difficult to sleep. Yeah, I was watching this person on YouTube and he was looking quite muscular. He was saying he was eating 3,000 calories a day for maintenance. It makes sense as to why my maintenance calories to be looking like this would be around 2,500 because I don't have as much to maintain. But if I were to get to that sort of level, which I do want to because I like the look of the strength and the competence that comes with that exercise-wise, I definitely have to be eating more. I really doubt that I'm reaching anywhere near 3,000 calories, but there's no way I'm going to know without the planning behind what I be eating. So it makes sense I start planning. I'm going to have this as well, not for calories, but on impulse really. But yeah, meal one. That's how many there are. I'd never cut the digestives open, but hey, I have to. Also, I don't know why they're upside down, but they are, yeah. After getting this far through the sandwich, I've just realised I might be up for a few hours because of it. Because of insulin rises and stuff, hormones. Yeah, damn. Especially with being on YouTube. Yeah, I might be awake for many hours. 2:50, preparing a bulk cook. I've got the meat and the fish ready from yesterday, so I'm just gonna have that with some of this. Yeah. 3 p.m. I just poured this milk out for myself. I'm gonna heat this up to have some hot cereal with this fruit and fiber. I usually would fill it up more than this, but I poured it to around half so I don't bloat as much as I usually would from all the sugars in the cereal and maybe even the milk too. I don't know. In order to find out if milk makes me bloat, I'd have to just drink milk by itself and then just see what happens and then just experiment. But I do know that these do make me bloat, but it's not necessarily even a problem. Overall, my stomach has been bloated less from the foods I'm eating, so I'm definitely making some progress. Yeah, making it more easy on the stomach to digest what I'm eating. But anyway, slowly but surely. But anyway, I'm gonna heat this up and then have this in the meantime whilst the rice is cooking. Yeah. Now that I remembered that I had my first meal at around 2:30 in the morning, it makes complete sense as to why I'm having my second meal at this time in the afternoon. Makes sense. This isn't what I'm gonna have now. The cereal is not my first meal, it would be my second. But yeah, that makes sense now. I was wondering why that was the case and worrying about it, but it definitely isn't my first meal that I've had today. 3:09, having this. With the portion size, I'm definitely bloated from this. That's just something that if I want to eat this whole meal, I'm gonna have to accept. I'm feeling quite hungry. It's not bloated. My stomach's not bloated as much, but it's been a long while since I last ate, so it does make sense. But yeah, I'm gonna have this now. Around about 5 minutes later, this is how much I've had to eat, and I feel okay after this amount. So that should mean really I should add half of what I added milk-wise this time, but next time even. I did basically have the whole thing though. Now I'm feeling a bit stuffed. Right? It feels like my stomach wants to just feel relaxed. Is it almost like you're breathing in and you just let your stomach just come out? That's what my stomach feels like it wants to do with the amount I've had. I don't doubt it's all of the sugars or other things that are making my body feel like it wants to do that. Let's check the nutritional values. This is going to mean a lot more to me later on with education, with more education than it does at the moment. But yeah, maybe it's to do with the sugars in the fats. I remember. Oh wait. I remember going on YouTube yesterday and seeing that fats, or maybe specific fats, cause water retention, hence the bloating. I don't remember, I'd have to do my research on that, but yeah. That would explain it. The rice is almost done. It's a bit wet. I don't think it's, oh there you go, yeah. Very easy to see like that. No way I'm eating that at the moment. That's gonna have to wait. Yeah. For some reason I didn't want to say that I was gonna have this with salad cream. I like the taste of it. I would have it with hummus as well. But seeing as I don't have any, that's just gonna have to do. I could have had it with some caramelized onions as well, but I don't want to because I don't want the feeling of indigestion. I don't know why onions make me feel indigested, or make me experience that, like heartburn. Like heartburn. I don't know why. It could be because onions high in fiber, but I really don't know. Even though I have the level 2 qualifications, I need to do more research on it and become more educated. Yeah, qualifications, although you certainly could have learned, there's always skill decay and knowledge decay. If you don't use it, you lose it, basically. And hence, it seems like at the moment I really lack knowledge around why certain foods make me feel a certain way and how they work and stuff. I need to build more structure on the other side of my life outside of exercise. That will help, definitely. Changing my sleep routine would also help too, but for now, that's it. I'm just gonna let that finish, and then I'll add the mixed veg to the rice, and then I've got this here. There you go, at least it's got, I like to imagine there's some nutritional value in it. I literally just defrosted it. Pardon me. I only found out today that you can literally just add maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons, no, 2 tablespoons or so, and then put it on full heat. You don't have to defrost it and make it take a longer time to cook. Yeah, but anyway, that's it for now. At around about 3:26 p.m. 5:40 p.m. big meal, rice, mixed veg, salmon, all of the protein sources I had here that I cooked yesterday with some salad cream. Yeah, I'm gonna stir that in and eat it. Come on. 10:25 p.m. feeling extremely hungry, so I'm having this Nutella sandwich with some beef jerky that I just saw in this cupboard, very conveniently placed around about here, just lying like this. Smells sweet. Smells alright. Think it'll get the job done. I've never had this before. I was just thinking, may as well try it. Why not? That's not what I thought word for word, but it was just there, so I decided to act on impulse and get it out to eat. Just try it. Oh, a lot less hard to chew than I would have thought it would be. I thought it was going to be really difficult and really hard, but it's not. Alright, oh, that explains it. British barbecue flavour. I wasn't looking. Then you've got this thing that came with it, so that it didn't get too wet, I think, yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna have that, and this, and that will be the meal. The last meal of the day, I'd like to imagine, so I don't eat at like 2 in the morning, and then stay out in bed until like 12:30. 10:29 p.m. That was just my finger, by the way. 10:29 p.m. ready to go. And I just wanted to show, I had 2 pieces, but that's how much is in the packet. Less than half, around about a quarter. but it's basically full. That's how much it came in before I ripped it open for the most part, excluding 2 pieces. Yeah. Outside of that though, I wanted to talk about calorie intake. Before I do that, I've got to say, this doesn't look like beef whatsoever. I feel that I'm starting to get into the habit of tracking what I eat. I think because it says how much was in that beef jerky packet, I'll put down that amount. Also, I said I wanted to talk about calorie intake, so I'm going to do that now. There's this person that I saw on YouTube whose name I forgot, around about my age, who seems to look very healthy and very, very muscular and strong within when he does his calisthenic stuff. And he said that his maintenance calories is around 3,000. Now, with working with a personal trainer in the past, we agreed that in order to maintain my current physique and this weight, my maintenance calories is around 2,500. So it makes sense as to why, on the premise he's telling the truth, and on the premise I'm telling the truth, that I am the way I am and he is the way he is. Nutrition, just on calories alone, of course you'd have to have a lot of protein to get to that weight that he is, but well, so I think, but it's going to be very difficult to do if I'm not having a certain calorie intake in mind that's more than my current maintenance, so that I actually do eventually start putting on more muscle. That's going to be very helpful for me, because it's going to mean I'm making it easier for myself to be more competent to do what I'd want to have as a job, which would be to train as a CrossFit coach and then eventually start selling my own books and courses about how to get and stay in shape, and just books that have a lot of research based on health in general, like books and courses based on sleep and nutrition and stuff. This isn't anything out of the ordinary or anything that somebody else hasn't done, but my selling pitch would be my own story. No one can sell my own story like I'd be able to. It's very unique and nobody else has that other than me. So I wouldn't only be able to provide facts, but I'd be able to provide my own experiences, which I would be able to use to further sell the book. But before then, I've thought of making many blogs based on that sort of stuff, whilst going out my way to draft up books of my personal experience with facts behind them, the facts and research behind them. That way, I'd actually be doing something that I'd be doing without money, as I'd be doing the blogs without money, even though I would have full intentions to eventually start making money from the books that I'd sell, which I would have used the blogs as preparation for. And we'll see how it goes. And who knows, I might be making an income with different ways from the YouTube channel. If I do monetize the videos, that means more people would see my face, so that could potentially mean more money through ad revenue, and also through special perks like create my own members class where you'd be able to see different stuff. I'm not sure if I'd do that stuff though, because I said I didn't want to be making money directly off YouTube, because I didn't want that to have a negative impact on my honesty that I'd expressed in the channel, or on the channel, and in these videos. I don't know how I'm gonna get by that. Do I stick to what I said before last year at 20, or do I decide to make money off it. I don't know. One reason that I didn't want to do that is because I don't want to do everything in pursuit of money. I don't want to do everything for money. That's what I was going to say. And although I still would be able to achieve that by doing other things for other reasons than an income, I'm not so sure that I'd want to do what it takes to monetize these videos, because that might come with a lot of sacrifice I'm not willing to make, such as a lack of authenticity when I talk about certain things. Also, title-wise as well, thumbnails, just basically following trends and things like that to have money coming in, rather than to allow myself to be me and to say what's truthfully on my mind without money being involved. I didn't expect this to turn into a serious video, but it seems like that's the route it's going. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what I'll do there, but I'll eventually have money coming in passively. That's the ideal way to be able to be resourceful, to have the ability to be resourceful without needing to exist in a building to do that, and getting paid to exist in a building doing something, whatever that would be. I'd want to get paid because my message is actually valuable and people value the message, which I would be able to make happen if I sell books and courses. Or people value what I'm doing through, even if it's not through that, and something more basic like just having potentially minor or major sources of income, like making gym journals or selling my own merchandise. I don't know how that would work. I think that I'd be very much active because I'd have to sort out the clothes and maybe even work towards getting a warehouse or something like that to make that happen. So I don't think that's passive at all. But as for making books where I'm not gathering the material to actually send them, then that would be. But regardless of what I'd want to do, I want to go down the passive income route. Is something that I've heard many times on the internet, and I genuinely do believe it's possible because people have sold books that I have bought. So I'd imagine that it definitely is possible. Otherwise, people would not have books from all the way back to the 20th century, which people might still be able to buy today as a vintage item or something. Now, obviously, that money might not be going to them, as the people who made those books back then might be dead, but still, that's the route I'd want to go down, for sure. That way, I wouldn't have to think about always having to actively pursue the ability to be resourceful, basically from the time I wake up to the time I sleep. I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly to make that reality happen, but I'd like to imagine that I could do that. It might take a while, but that's not gonna happen without belief and structure, without clarity, very basically, without clarity of what I'd be selling and how I go about creating these things I'd want to sell. I'm not going to get anywhere far. For as long as I lack clarity on these things and daily consistent effort, I'm going nowhere far. I'm going nowhere fast. Both are true, I think. How far would I be willing to go for that though? My cutoff point, one of my main boundaries for that would be, I'd want to be known for my word, but I don't want to have to risk my privacy and therefore my health and safety, potentially, just because I want to sell books and courses related to health. I'm not so sure if I want to do the online health coaching thing anymore, even though I've said I've wanted to. Reason being, it'd be very, very much active, and I'd be doing that for money. Even though I might enjoy it more than working a level 2 gym instructor job where I'm basically more at reception than I am actually coaching, even though I would be doing that a bit. This is long term we're talking about. And is it something that I'd want to do and have to keep on doing? I'd like to be able to choose my own hours. I believe that I have this ability even before working. I could choose what I do and when I do it. But what I mean by this is, even as I think about it on the spot, I'm not sure. I like the idea of of believing I have to be at a certain place at a certain time, or otherwise I'm not going to be able to fend for my own financially. It's something I've been thinking about. But if I want to make that happen, I've got to start now, which I have. I said I've made a plan for how I want to transition from someone that's working toward coaching to actually coaching to then selling books about how to get and stay in shape and just overall health with personal experience and personal stories. But if I want to make that happen, I've got to start working on it now and not just planning it. I'm no longer at an age where I can't fend for my own financially. I'm more than legal to do that now. So I've got to make it happen to be able to live a healthy life which I wouldn't otherwise have. Yeah. On that note, I think I'm done. I'll leave it there. This might be the last clip, so if it is, cheers to moving forward. I'm done. Peace. No, I'm not done. There was one more thing that I wanted to say before filming the last clip, but didn't do. As I was eating the sandwich, I felt my stomach felt painful. I didn't have it with any water, but I definitely think it's making me bloat an unhealthy amount. And also, before ending the last clip, I was hesitating towards saying that I don't think my parents are living healthily, and therefore it'd be very difficult for me, maybe even near enough impossible for me to live a healthy life. And although they might not be living as healthily as I as an individual would like to live, the thought that came into my mind after ending the last clip is that I've got to stop blaming them for where I'm at the moment. And although, yeah, they might not be as healthy as I'd want to be at their age, that's up to me to make that happen. I can't keep on blaming them for where I'm at and how I feel from time to time, always. And sometimes when I complain about them, there definitely would be more than just. But in this case, I'm actually going to challenge the way how I think in the past and say, yes, they might not live as healthily as I'd like to live as an individual, but it's up to me to make that happen. It's up to me to go right where I think my parents have gone wrong. It's up to me to be able to live healthily. and to not end up like my parents. I don't want to live like them at all. I don't want to potentially be complaining a lot more than you're not, a lot more than they're not. I don't want to end up having a lot of health issues. Not to say that they have a lot, but I definitely could go down that route if I'm not careful. I don't want to feel like crap from the foods that I'm eating all the time and complain about the fact that I'm overweight even though I'm not doing anything about it. That's something my mum's done in the past, and I don't want to be like her in that aspect. There, in my opinion, generally speaking, there are quite a few ways that I wouldn't want to be like them. I'd say many, but if I were to ask myself to give examples, then it's like I wouldn't have any in mind. I think I'm saying that because I feel angry toward them, and that's it really. Angry at the fact that from time to time during serious conversations they think that they can treat me with disrespect and that's okay, but I can't do the same. My dad from time to time has treated me with so much hostility that even today when I was thinking about it, the words that came to mind was, it makes my blood boil. I definitely do. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to describe it, but I do feel on edge, and you could even see it in how I pull my face when saying that, and slightly shaky, almost like I'm experiencing adrenaline to do something and to fight. Sometimes because of what he said and how he's gone out of his way to treat me. Like one time the other day, maybe even less than a week ago, I was lying down, and he was approaching me and talking to me in a very hostile way because I told him to go away over something. I remember what it was, but I won't say. Oh, I remember what it was over, but I won't say. Very basically, something, in my opinion, that was minor, and I didn't want him thinking that he had the right to decide how I act and basically decide how I carry myself and who I am as a person. That's up to me now. And although I might not, I believe it always has been, but it's only now that I realize that. And I don't want to be around my parents, living with them, with that being one of the main reasons. Anger management, not having to be around them and thinking that their poor behaviour, or what I'd consider to be their poor behaviour, is excusable, whereas mine isn't. I feel so angry because I think that's unfair. That not only can that happen within this relationship, within family, from parent to child, but also because that way of thinking could genuinely affect my living situation. Because of their feelings, I could get kicked out. And because of this mentality of them, in my opinion, thinking that their poor behaviour is excusable, whereas mine isn't, could get me kicked out and homeless. It's not something I like. I shouldn't have to think that my living situation could be threatened because of feelings. And even if a landlord were to do that when I move out, I'd like to imagine that they at least give me a notice, even if it's 1 month, to say, pack your bags and go. But my parents, because of their feelings, they might just kick me out instantly and say, you're on your own. Now, although my dad one time, I very vividly remember him threatening homelessness over me. He has more than once, I remember him saying that he would not kick me out on the street, even though he said that, and I brought that up to him. It doesn't matter to me, no. It doesn't matter to me, though. I don't think he understands that certain things that he might say or do have an effect, and it doesn't just go because he said, well, I've dropped it, so you drop it. That's his tactic, it seems. to think that he can treat me with such disrespect and potentially abuse me on the premise we're defining abuse as maltreatment, regular maltreatment. Oh fuck, I forgot what I was going with that. But yeah, very basically, I just don't want to be in that sort of situation. Don't want it. And I'm definitely willing to put myself in a position where I am living by myself and I have peace of mind, and I don't have to think that my living situation is threatened because of someone's feelings. Imagine that. I can now understand. Before I didn't understand, but I think I can now understand why people get mortgages. Because they don't want to get kicked out of their own home, which is more than fair enough. People would want to move out because of family dynamics, I'd imagine, and then they realise basically getting something similar from a landlord, and then from there they just keep on getting the same thing over and over and over again until they put their foot down and say, no, I've had enough. And then it's the banks taking advantage of them through having to take out loans to buy a house because they haven't got themselves sorted out financially enough to be able to buy it without needing a loan. It being a house or houses, depending on how they want to go about it. I'm not yet at a level of knowledge with real estate to know that to know whether you have to or don't have to buy a house without a loan from the bank. I don't know this, but I'd like to imagine you don't have to, and if you have enough money there, it's possible to buy a house from the bank, if that's how it works, without needing to get a loan from them, which would then incur interest, and then you're just stuck in debt and potentially a low credit score, which would then mean it's difficult to be resourceful in a way you'd want to be, in ways you want to be. For example, having a low credit score, as far as I'm aware, could mean it's a lot more difficult to get an aesthetically pleasing car and very basically aesthetically pleasing resources, which might be more detrimental than helpful to your drive to do things, but still, aesthetically pleasing stuff, they're not going to care about that. You just buy the stuff and go. I think that's how they think, which is trying to get the most money out of people through profit for resourcefulness, because without profit it'd be more difficult to keep a business, in this very specific context, keep a business afloat, and also to gain access to higher quality resources to then even more easily keep the business afloat, to survive. Resourcefulness definitely does help survival to a basic standard, and that's in my opinion an understatement. For me, I'd say that's an understatement because, in my opinion, in the context of exercise, if I have a lot of equipment at home, like pull-up bars and gymnastics rings and weights and barbells and stuff, and maybe even my own gym, I think it would be a lot easier to train than having to go maybe half an hour car journey to the gym. I don't do that. I don't have to do that. But yeah, just saying as an example. After doing this talk, I think feelings wise, I'm alright. I don't feel okay. I feel dehydrated and my stomach feels like it's in a little bit of pain, like I'm gonna experience constipation when I go on the toilet and try and take a shit next time. But as for how I feel in this sort of situation, I feel alright. Yeah, very basically, if I'm talking about parents again, my parents again, I'd just like to say that I'd like to move on. That's what comes to mind. I'd like to move on from this situation to be able to live, to make it easier for myself to live healthily, more healthily. I mean, even if I look at all of this, in my eyes, I'm calling it shit. If I look at this shit, I say, although I am the one that's deciding to eat it, it's not the healthiest of food. Like my stomach didn't like it. It doesn't digest well. And if I don't work on my resourcefulness, this is what I get. And this is outside of the fact that none of us are going to live forever. So if I don't carry on getting on top of my financial health, this is what I'm stuck to. White bread that doesn't digest well, that feels painful, that my stomach doesn't like at all. Chocolate spread that I can see that I just had a meal with. Whole load of juice, which might not be healthy. Takeaway potentially 3 times a week. Overstocking as well, you know. Yeah, that's definitely something that, with my living situation, I have to think about. Definitely. Even though I have one compartment in the fridge, one compartment in the freezer, and I agree with my parents, that's what I was going to do. It's not my fridge and it's not my freezer. So until I get my own, although that's what we've agreed, they don't follow those rules. And they just give excuses for when I point it out to them. They know I'm right, but they don't care enough to not do it. Making it harder for me to making it unnecessarily difficult for me to eat healthily. I think the way how I'd like to go about this before moving out is to get my own fridge and my own freezer, and to make it more easily, and for rent-wise to account for that, to help them pay the bills. Otherwise, I think it would be unfair using more electricity, but yet not being willing to pay for it, especially as an adult. That's fully grown, at least for the most part, seeing as people say your brain's not fully developed until 25. Whether that's true, I don't know, but yeah. Now that's that. I think that's it. I'll leave it at that. Just we finito. I want to drink some more water, and then I'm going to track that beef jerky, and I'll get the MyFitnessPal ready, and then that's going to be it. That'll be the end of the video. So cheers to working through things and eventually being able to make it. I don't know when I thought this, maybe less than a week ago or so, but I thought of making it as this. Getting to a point where I achieve pristine, top of the top health. I don't know when that'd be for me, but a level of health that I enjoy every day, more often than not. I think that's what I would probably class as pristine health. No health issues, regularly tracking the state of my health through, for example, going physio, maybe even going to therapy, going to get regular checkups to make sure that I'm all right and I'm not sick or on the verge of getting any cardiovascular issues or any cancers of any sort. That definitely is something I have to think about. There's this idea that I think the British Heart Foundation talk about, and they say that black people are more prone to getting prostate cancer. And with how genetics are, yeah, I definitely could. Definitely. that's as far as I'll go without getting into a lot of detail there. But you can probably figure it out. It runs in the family, basically. All right, that's it. I have no more thoughts in the mind. Other than to say I've got to cut this off. Dry like a straw, I remember my mum would say. And also, I'm gonna cut this off as well. I've been looking at it growing and don't want it to get overgrown, so I'll cut that off probably tomorrow. But for now, that's it, that's the end of the video, I'm done. I'm gonna go track that beef jerky packet and then I'm probably gonna go to sleep. So cheers to moving forward in life, man. Peace, I'm done.